government, that is the state, through the police, is to secure the lives of people and property. But I think, Bwana IG, there is already a firm belief across the country that the police have lost in this war. The challenge I have is that we have been able to provide what you call homegrown solutions. One, we've been able to identify the raiders by name, their villages, their chiefs, and so on. And we have given out their names to the police service. Even NSIS have done that. But no arrest has been done in some of those areas. And there are the same fellows who just keep on raiding. Your police stations, we propose strategic places to be put. Even when you do so, there are no police officers in those positions. I remember, and I know some stations in my former constituency, where you have 3 police officers who are supposed to man a whole area. And finally, even when they have their vehicles, they don't have the fuel. My question to you, and remember you are the 4th IG, and your other former colleagues, they have given those assurances. My question on behalf of people in those regions, as others will do, is what will you do differently, Bwana Koome, so that the people identified as the raiders are arrested and we have peace in those areas? Recovery of livestock, as I conclude. So that is an area which I thought maybe you need to address us and the country, because that is the feeling across the areas where we have the castle rustling business. Thank you. And from there,
with your leave. Chair, with your leave.
Yeah.
Before you go, with your leave, I think the IG, not IG, not yet. Nompo is convincing me he's a good man, but not yet. Chair, he has not addressed the 2017 post-election question. I thought that maybe he should not forget that one.
Okay. Maybe what we do, Professor, we can allow him to deal with that issue when you are putting the question on the affidavit, because the affidavit is actually dealing more on matters of the post-election violence. So let me now allow my colleague to proceed and invite the other members to... You will answer mine when you're answering the other questions from the other members.
Thank you, my co-chair, and for that very good moderation. Mr. Koome, I hope you should be provided with water. At least you get a bit fatigued at what you, yeah. Now, maybe before I throw to members, maybe 2 questions you add to what my co-chair asked. On the same issue, more on the issue of the cattle rustling. What will be, if assume appointed, approved and nominated by this committee and subsequently by the House of Parliament, what will be your strategy to control the proliferation of small arms and disarmament of the armed bandits terrorizing communities along the volatile borders? Yeah, the Keyo Valley, the one my Baringo, as my colleague has mentioned. So just not that one. 2, we all know the kind of era we are in as a country, as a globe. What technological innovation as an IG will you employ to solve complex crime of our time, such as cybercrime, murders, drug trafficking, and money laundering? So I think you've gotten me clearly. Yeah, the complicated, the modern crime, you know, the innovations. Now, I've seen a number of members indicated they want to ask on some question. I will start with Honorable Protas Akunja.
Sure.
So take the floor. Thank you, Chair. Through you, Chairs, I want to ask the nominee for the IG position to give a detailed account, or rather describe the National Police Service. What is the identity of the service? What are the most striking points in this service? And what do you think is the perception of the ordinary Kenyans about the police service? And whether this worries or encourages you. Secondly, what is your take Service Commission, and what will be your working relationship between the National Police Service and the National Police Service Commission? What do you contemplate of that? Then an additional question related to what the two chairs have talked about, the cattle rustling. Cattle rustling has become a thorn in the flesh in the North Rift and neighboring counties. Lives have been lost, property have been destroyed, social amenities have been destroyed, schools closed, dispensaries closed, and displacement of people has happened. And intelligence is telling us the police are also involved in one way or another, because animals are taken and you cannot get recovery. And some of these animals go as far as Uganda, Kampala. So what are some of the strategies will you put in place as the new IG? Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, fair enough. Senator Haji? Yes.
Thank you, Chair. My question was also on the cattle rustling, but I guess my chair already asked on that. Maybe I could just ask the IG to maybe tell us what he knows about wash, in his own opinion and experience.
Can you answer those ones first? Or we give you another set of one member, maybe? We had one member? Yeah, because I think there are not many questions. I'm seeing Senator Mugor want to say something. Yes.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mr. Koome, this question has actually been kind of chiseled here and there. My question is, what specific steps will you take to curb this menace of cattle rustling? And I would like you to be very particular, because some of the places like Isiolo are very persistent, and Isiolo is not far from where you grew up. And there's a lot of cry there, year in, year out. Then secondly, you go to Samburu, you move to Pokot, and unfortunately the attitude sometimes from some of the officers deployed in those areas is, why die for a cow? Let the people that drive cows die for their cows. So their attitude is very passive, while there is loss of lives, while there is loss of property. And these are Kenyans that they took oath to protect their lives and also their properties. Then my second and last question is on this illicit brews, and also where police end up collecting money from border people on the road, travelers in matatus, without, logical reason as to why they even stop them in the first place. So sometimes I think because there are no particular reasons and instructions as to why they are manning that road or they are on that road, they end up doing the wrong things. It's like what people say, an idle mind will be a tool of the devil.
Senator, I'm sorry to, I'm just discovering that we may be repeating maybe a time same question. So kindly, considering our number, you know, it's a mixed house of Senate and National Assembly. If a question has been addressed or asked by a colleague, you can leave that one. Also, I ask you to, we try to be brief. We still have quite a number of members who have indicated they want to contribute. Yeah, so I think on cattle rustling, it's been asked quite a number of members. So maybe before we give other members, let him answer those questions. Then we go to another set of questions. And I ask you members to kindly be brief. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Co-Chair. Thank you, members, senators. Now, this matter regarding cattle rustling, I think each of those members who asked the question touched on cattle rustling. Incidentally, it's not even cattle rustling. It is livestock rustling. Because in that business, actually what is involved more is goats. It's not even the cows, it's the goats. Therefore, it's livestock rustling. A study was carried out by IGAD, and the findings were very worrying. That every year, the amount of money involved in terms of cows, goats involved is about 4.92 billion every year. It's 4.92 billion. Then the cost in terms of displacement, the destruction, foodstuff destroyed, homes burnt down. The costs, all that quantified, is about 40-something billion. In total, every year we lose about 51 billion in livestock rustling. That's a substantial amount of money. And you've not even quantified. You can't quantify. You cannot put any value on a life lost. You can't. Chair, co-chair, honorable members, we are at a point where enough is enough. Officers have been running up and down, pursuing the raiders, who are youths, idle youths. But we have been leaving out the livestock. Are they barons or lawns? We have been leaving out the livestock lawns.
The warlords.
The lawns. Because this is a major criminal commercial enterprise. But let's be sincere. It is a major criminal commercial enterprise. If we continue pursuing these youths, who at the end of the day get very little out of that enterprise, and we are leaving out the loans, we shall not get anywhere. Chair, co-chair, members, senators, if you approve my nomination, I'll come back to this committee so that livestock clustering is treated as a terrorist act. That way, any livestock lord or we shall arrest will go to jail for life. And that way, this business this criminal activity will end. Therefore, I'll come back to you if you approve my nomination members, so that we can work together and deal with this problem once and for all. The youths who are involved in this criminal activity, we need to give them some training, maybe vocational training. They can be involved. There is shortage of plumbers in this country. There is shortage of competence. So we can give these youth skills. Then the reformed, those reformed readers, we give an incentive so that those who are being recruited will be discouraged. Chair, co-chair, we need a Marshall Plan. We used to have a livestock rustling in Kachiriba. It's no longer the case. Now there are people are farming. Kachiriba these days is very safe. Arare area. Why can't we do the same to Tiati? Why can't we do the same to Rokori? There is another member who said I'm a Nairobi person. There is no part of this country I've not been to. I've been to Kiunga, I've been to Kibish. I served in anti-stock theft unit, pursuing cattle rustlers. Therefore, a chair, let's have a Marshall Plan for those areas. We cannot at all allow leaving some areas behind as other parts of this country develop. Otherwise, the legitimacy of the state will be lost. So those are the strategies. I'm allowed to get into this office. First, we start with those loans. I hope I've addressed on the livestock rustling. The other one I need to mention, go back to, is to resolve all these challenges we have. As I mentioned, is the county policing authorities. This committee, again, if my nomination is approved, let's operationalize the county policing authorities. Who are the members of this authority? The governor is the chairperson. The county police commander is a member. The NIS coordinator of that county is a member. The CID commander is a member. Then two members elected are nominated by the county assembly of that county. Two members are members of that authority. Then members representing religious organizations, the youth, women, people who require special needs, they are represented in that committee, that authority. And every constituency is represented. So if those county policing authorities are operational, that would be a game changer in this country. The collapsing buildings we are having in Kiambu, because Kiambu, the challenge there is not cattle rustling. Within that county, their challenge, security challenge is collapsing buildings. So that committee is able to, that authority can, so that is a strategy I intend to bring into this once I am in that office. That's the strategy I'm going to employ. Chair, you asked about the emerging crimes. Actually, the most worrying one is falsified medicine. That's the most worrying now. Other than cybercrime, among others, falsified, fraudulent medicine in the market. You are diabetic, but you take that pill every morning, you are not actually addressing the problem. You are taking something else. So therefore, that is why we want to enhance Chair, once you give me this opportunity to serve as the IG, immediately enhance our capacity so that we are able, we have officers with the knowledge, the training, the capacity to address the emerging challenges. Honorable Guja talked about the worries. Chair, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I'm equal to the task. With the support of this committee and fellow police officers. Incidentally, we have very good police officers in this country. 98% very professional, patriotic, is only 2%. Very professional, doing very good job. Therefore, Honorable Gunja, I have the critical mass. I have the critical mass to change that 2%. I've just come from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, attending Interpol meeting. And every country wanted to know about how we managed to sit terrorism attack. It was done very well, very professional. Every country wanted a presentation from us. Or now Kenya, very professional police officers, very competent. Senator Mogo, illicit bruise, big challenge, Chair. Co-chair, big challenge. Our youths must stop this liking for alcohol. We are drinking too much. This must be managed, or else we are going to lose our country. I have passion for this area. Illicit bruise and drugs. Because we are not careful, as I've stated, we are going to lose our generation. This again, we need a chair. If you approve my nomination, immediately, I will not wait for the CEO Nakada to come to my office. I'll go to his office and discuss about this problem. It's building synergy, working together, multi-agency approach. And we are able to guide our children. That alcohol, drinking too much alcohol, getting into drugs, that is not the way to go. Senator Haji, wash, very unfortunate. And, even people who have been very educated people have got into this trap. Very embarrassing. Even at times when you go to give evidence in the court, everybody looks at you. Surely, did that happen? Get rich quickly, peer pressure. We must live within our means. We have no option. Let's live within our means. Let us not be married to make millions. We live within our means. So I think, again, the question by Senator Mogo, it was on cattle rustling, Isiolo Samburu. So thank you, Chair. Thank you, Co-Chair. Thank you, members. Thank you, Senators.
Thank you, our nominee, Mr. Koome. We still have a number of members who want to answer the question, but just want to bring to the attention of the members that there is one Irungu Houghton. I don't know who is he, who wanted to ask something on police reform. Our standing orders and the procedures does not allow, you are a stranger in this. Maybe it will have happened in form of a petition. But I'm sure the same, one of your requests may be addressed is among the many questions I'm seeing members floating. So kindly and very fast, we have got Senator Nyamu, Honorable Caroline, and Kapondi in that order. Quickly, because I'm seeing our time is a bit rushing.
Thank you, Chair. Inspector Koome, there has been hue and cry lately about our girls who are going to work outside the country, and particularly in the Arab countries. There has also been an influx of contraband goods in the country, and the hot topic of tax evasion that even the president has taken the forefront in campaigning for tax, that ensuring citizens pay their taxes. What is your strategy to deal with these rogue employment agencies and the counterfeit goods and the issue of tax evasion? Secondly, Inspector, what new approaches will you employ to ensure safety and security of all citizens and their property across the country, as is your number one mandate? New approaches. I'm sure, being part of the police service for 31 years, you know of all approaches being employed, what has worked, what has failed. Do you have any new approaches that you wish you get this opportunity to apply and change things to ensure security of property and citizens? Thank you.
Quickly, Ngeleche. Yes, Vice.
Honorable Chair, the nominee before us is much higher than an inspector. An inspector is a very junior officer in the police force. So if we don't know the rank, let us just address him as the nominee. Thank you, Chair.
I am guided. I got that from Senior Counsel Ogenda. I don't know where he got that title from.
Chair, the nominee before us is a Senior Assistant Inspector General. That is the title. But he has applied to be an Inspector General. So whichever way, he is still going to be an inspector, but Inspector General.
So, Faida, I think on that one, really. I think the House is guided. It is not good to mislead the House. The nominee has not applied to become the IG. He has been nominated. I think it is good to put it correctly.
But
it's matters of law.
Chair, I think for purposes of that issue, let us, so that we don't get confusion at some point, for all purposes of this meeting, let us just refer to him as the nominee.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The nominee, thank you so much. And my name is again Honorable Caroline Ngeleche, County MP for Elgeyo Marakwet County. And I'm happy that you served in ASTU, that is anti-stock theft, in 1998. That is when I was in high school. But then I know the House might get tired of this same issue, but as myself in Parliament, I am Elgeyo Marakwet, and Elgeyo Marakwet is my business. And if you can collect views from the people of Elgeyo Marakwet watching this interview, they'll definitely tell you that the issues that you handled, how you answered the questions on banditry, are the same issues that we've always had, and there has not been any difference. I wish that you can go deeper. Tell us, you've talked about opening up the area and training the youth to be plumbers and blah, blah, blah. But then tell us the short-term measures, because that is a very active thing currently. The president talked about it family in, I think it was Samburu, then the next day there was an attack. Kindly tell us the immediate and short-term measures that, if given the opportunity, you're going to implement. Tell us how you're going to do the disarmament differently, the way it's been done. Because since I was a baby, there's been disarmaments in that area every now and then. Then you wonder, where do firearms come from thereafter? Do you do disarmament, then the firearms are returned back to the people? Tell us. I cannot talk about it family because during attacks, many a times when you collect the cartridges left by the bandits, you find that they belong to the government of Kenya. Tell us how you're going to do, or how you're going to handle the whole affair, how you're going to collaborate with the manufacturers to ensure that there is a watertight security and only firearms are given to the rightful people, and how are you going to ensure that there is no misuse by police officers or those charged or those given the responsibility about it. Tell us about the new technology. We know we are in a techno era whereby things change. Tell us how you're going to handle banditry with technology. Are you going to deploy drones? Are you going to get more sophisticated firearms? Tell us if you're going to employ aircrafts, or we want to hear such things, because how I had the question, how you answered the question to me is the normal things that you've always had. We've had meetings and meetings, and I can assure you, even in the shopping centers, there at home, people are talking about what you're talking about. We have a police station, and if you worked in us too, you must be knowing all the camps in the Kerio Valley. We have a camp in the Kerio Valley called Tot. It doesn't have enough police officers. The police officer, some 6 months ago, 3 children were killed within that area. Tell us, is it the issue of not enough police officers, of unprofessional police officers? Tell us if these police officers are there just to earn an income or to earn a salary and leave the place. Tell us about the arrests ever made. You know, we always see criminals being taken to court. Myself, I have not witnessed a criminal on banditry charged before a court of law. Last year, in Elgeyo Marakwet, we lost more than 100 people to banditry. So, no, don't moderate me, Honorable Kapondi. Sorry, Honorable Kapondi is just, but I'm about to finish it up. Tell us how you're going to ensure that these criminals wanapatikana na wanapelekwa kotini. Finally, the whole affair, when you talk about short-term issues, tell us what you're going to do with those people, or with the business or movement of livestock from one place to another. If you see a truckload of livestock passing Nakuru to Dakoreti or to Athi River, just tell us how you're going to know that this truck is not faring proceeds of banditry. Those are the things I would have wished to hear. And I can assure you that we might not achieve a lot if you're not going to answer me those questions, because my people will want to know what you're going to do that is different. Thank you so much.
Honorable Kapondi, then we give to the nominee to respond.
Yeah, nominee, Engineer Koome, I must appreciate the fact that you have passion for the job, going by your history. Having been a policeman even before you were recruited at the University of Nairobi. Engineer Koome, this is the 21st century. Colleagues are talking about rustling, which may require a very physical approach. But the emerging trends in crime coming to the 21st century, and without proper preparedness, is a cybercrime. That is a new frontier. Yes, you have been given what the Constitution provides for. That is the budget, independence of the office, so that you can execute your mandate. What are you going to do in terms of investment in technology with limited budget? Because the budget, I believe, will not be sufficient enough, given the myriad of issues that you are supposed to tackle as the IG nominee.
Good. Maybe it's your turn, Mr. Koome.
Chair, Co-Chair, honorable members, senators, I wish to start with a question by Senator Nyamo. Our young people who are going to Saudi Arabia, the other day I traveled with them. I traveled in economy class, Saudi Airline, and I went with those our youths, huge, big number, and that happens on daily basis. Full load, airplane going to Jeddah, going to Riyadh. And they look very innocent. I remember even as we were taking off, and somehow because of they could see there's an elderly, sitting next to them, so I was managing them because the flight was very uncomfortable. That indicates how innocent they are. When we got to, we had an engagement with them. And they would tell me, all these stories you read about back at home, it may not be the reality. When I was flying back, again, my connection, the flight, took me about 3 or 4 hours. Again, quite a number who have been there for 4 years, 3 years, coming back. And a long discussion with them, because I want them to understand really what is the issue. That is a matter we really need to study the truth in it, or exactly what is happening. It is a matter we need, it needs to be understood very well through multi-agency approach, immigration, of course, the labor ministry, also be interested. These are our children. Therefore, is an area I may not be very competent to comment further about, but there is a lot. There is a lot in that area. These are our children. We cannot allow them to be mistreated. But I would mention why at times, because most of you have visited Saudi Arabia. You know there is no compromise. You must be law-abiding. A slight thing, you find yourself in jail. And there's no compromise. So therefore, Chair, allow me not to go further into that one. But if you allow me, again, my nomination to be approved, this is a matter I'm interested in from a security and safety perspective. Senator Nyamo, tax evasion. And His Excellency the President has pronounced himself on this. Chair, Co-Chair, honorable members, once you approve my nomination, I intend to cover our border a lot more. I remember asking the other day the regional commander, Northeastern, if he ever saw a Mumias Rolly, Mumias Sugar Company Rolly in Garissa. And he cannot recall when he last saw one. So what is the indication? What are the indicators? All the sugar they consume around there may not be local sugar. It is through the porous border. The rice, I remember him telling me, he has never seen a Moya rice lorry driving to Garissa. Therefore, this is a matter is, once my nomination is approved, through a multi-agency approach for the sake of our country, is a matter we need to resolve. We are losing a lot of wealth of this country. Yes, safety measures I'll put in place. I'll invest a lot in building capacity of officers. When you have qualified human resource with capacity, that is worth investing in that area. Therefore, our investors have stated quite a lot in terms of building capacity of our officers. Honorable Caroline, cattle rustling. Chair, I seek your indulgence. I'm aware we are being watched by friendly forces and unfriendly forces. There are some bits of strategies, unless we have curtains drawn, some strategies may compromise the security of our beautiful country. So, Chair, I need you to be guided in that area. However, Honorable Caroline, once you approve my nomination, we shall have been to talk.
The
We shall
chair,
meet again.
point of order, Chair.
Yes?
Could the nominee restrict himself to, if we approve his nomination, not once, we approve his nomination? Thank you.
No, it's okay. He's saying your problem is the words used. Yeah. So please restrict to if.
Okay.
You know,
Okay, well guided.
words
Yeah.
have a lot of meanings.
Okay. So just go on. Paul Akinyi. Just move on. You are on somewhere on Lengeletich.
Chair, maybe it's an issue of language. It's an issue of language.
Yeah.
But this is not, English is not is borrowed language.
No, you said when, but I know you meant if.
But it's may.
Yeah, so
Just in case it's out of your.
Proceed, Mr. Koome.
Therefore, Chair, Honorable Caroline, I'll go with you. I'll go to thought and ensure that we listen to, and that's why I mentioned the chair. The game changer is once we make this the county policing authorities operational. That is what will change the situation we're in, because every county will identify this is our problem. That is what they'll discuss. The community are involved. The local leadership is involved. Then every constituency, because the Act say, National Police Act states that every constituency must be represented in that authority. Therefore, Chair, we are able to even get a lot more information, because the strategy I intend to employ is intelligence-led policing. I must have intelligence. There's this cattle Lastora who is in that cave. We shall go there. There is this livestock lord who is managing all that, who is funding. Therefore, the game changer, as I've stated, is the county policing authorities, and that will be immediate. As, with due respect, if I'm allowed, given the opportunity, I hope that is better. If I'm given the opportunity, I will immediately ensure that those county policing authorities are operational and serving our people. We have no spare country. We must ensure our country is safe and secure for everybody. Thank you, Chair.
One, I think it's clear to all of us that the nominee is talking about some sensitive security matters that may not be safe. So I think I will ask members to give benefit of doubt on that. We believe he means yes. Maybe we'll get an opportunity to. Mheshimiwa Kara, I know how passionate, how touching these matters wrestlings are in majority of our communities. But it's an opportunity that we may discuss even further. So kindly, let's.
It's okay. We give him the benefit of doubt.
So, okay, I think you still have one question unanswered from Honorable Kapondi.
Thank you, Chair, and Co-Chair, and honorable members and senators. Honorable Kapondi, I have passion for this job. I have passion for police work. And you again mentioned about livestock lastering. Mount Elgon, I'll mention Honorable Kapondi. All those places, keep it crop. I've been to all those places with the effort of making sure that our people enjoy their existence. That is the energy we intend to bring to this office. When allowed. We are constrained in terms of budget. Sure, that is true. I'm aware that our moderation budget was about 10 billion. It was cut by 9 billion. So we are now on 1 billion out of 10 billion. Therefore, I will again come back to this honorable committee so that I get more funds. I'm able to buy MRAPs and personnel carriers, surveillance equipment. And thank you, Chair. Those are the questions which were presented before me.
Thank you. Members, let me give to my co-chair to moderate the remaining part. I know Honorable Korere. Yeah.
Thank you. We get another 3 or 4 members. And I want to start with Mheshimiwa Korere.
Thank you, Chair. I have 3 questions to Bwana Koome. Question number 1. You've just mentioned that currently you have 2,900 recruits at the Kiganjo campus, police campus. And you are the immediate commandant of that college. My question is, are you aware that almost half of those recruits, if not all, have literally paid their way into that college through the corruption in recruitment? And it's becoming a very expensive venture to get recruited into the police force, probably because of the unemployment situation in our country. Question number 2, the mental health issues among the police force. If you look at the news nowadays, you hardly go for a week without hearing a police officer have shot themselves, they have shot their family, they have shot so and so. It's not just in the police force, but there are mental health issues among our youth. You actually mentioned that if you don't deal with the drugs and substance abuse, we are losing a generation. And that generation we are risking losing is actually the same generation in the police force. What are you going to do to address the mental health issues among the police officers? Then finally, and still on the issues of mental health issues and discipline, when you come to some of our constituencies, especially those of us from the north, sometimes we wonder whom we have wronged in this country. You get a police station where all the officers who are posted there are not serviceable. And when you take keen interest to know why, most of these guys are there on disciplinary issues. So if a police station in Marsabit, for example, in Laikipia North, in Elgeyo Marakwet, all the officers on disciplinary issues are posted there. Honestly, why would that happen? Are those citizens, is it because they believe that these guys are cattle rustlers, they are so indisciplined, so you take all the indisciplined officers there? How are you going to ensure that we get serviceable men and women, credible, to deal with the issues we have? Then finally, about the Kiganjo Training School. You know, Kiganjo Training School, I'm sure you have some constituent training areas, either in private lands and some in community land. There is a training area for police in a place called Mugogodo, where I'm lucky to have been born and brought up. And we've had issues of unexploded ordinances blowing up children. And currently there is, a very big role between the police and the members of the community. We know the police must train there, or should train there because they are Kenyan police, they protect us. But what action are you going to take to make sure that the communities are compensated and the communities get returns for hosting the police there to train in their land? This is community land. The members of that community have title deeds. It is not gazetted as a police training area. What are you going to do in that field?
Thank you, Honorable Kurere. Very serious questions on that. I allow Honorable Hussein. You have the floor.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. I have 4 pertinent questions. The first one is, our police officers live in a very pathetic situations when it comes to their housing. Especially where I come from in Mandera, I visited the police stations, and you cannot imagine the kind of, houses they live. I want to ask the nominee, what plans do you have in changing the lives of our police officers living situation? Number 2, I'm sure the nominee has served in several, senior positions in this country. And he is fully aware that there are so many extrajudicial killings that have happened, especially in the last 5 years. In Mandera alone, over 100 people were killed. Some of them, the bodies were recovered. Others, up to date, their bodies have not yet been recovered. An incident in Nairobi, my own cousin, Abdirizak Mukhtar Ido, was arrested in Mandera and taken to court. He was charged and released later. When he was released, just a few meters from the court, he was snatched from the vehicle with his parents. To date, that person is not found. We don't know where he is, whether alive or dead. My question is, because you served in a senior position, you may have information in the whereabouts of that person and many others that are missing. Another incident is a senior chief in a place called Fino have been taken away during the night with his father-in-law. People thought he died. 7 months later, when even his wife has been taken away by another husband, the guy was dropped and thrown
No, I think
somewhere.
it is by another man.
You know, when in our society, when someone dies, there is what we call wife inheritance. And you see, people thought that this person died months ago. The guy was thrown in a forest, but disabled, completely out, up to death. That guy is in my constituency. He could not go back to his duty. Up to now, the guy, several camels have been, slaughtered just to make sure that he comes back to normal. But he can't. He's disabled. That is an incident that has happened. Another incident that happened, someone in Arabia, a sub-county in Mandera, has been taken away from his home while he was in a wedding. He wedded a new wife. Taken away. And this is done by our security agents. He was also dropped 8 months later when all his properties were shared by the relatives. They have shared through, inheritance. The wife taken, the properties taken, the animals taken. These are the incidents that have happened. So what plans do you have in changing that kind of extrajudicial killings? These are the ones that are recovered, but others have not been seen to date. Number 3, in our area and in most of the, the pastoral areas, like Turkana, I know Marakwet and all these areas, we have what we call Kenya police reserves that are really helping. Also national police reserves that are helping the society and helping our police force because they understand the situation. They understand the over 2,000 plots owned by my own constituents have been settled by police officers. They have gone to court, gone everywhere. Up to date, that land, it's settled by our police forces. Right now, it's not even an inhabitable place because of, the weapons that have been left and the buildings that have been put there. What plans do you have also to return that land to the owners and compensating them for the 11 years our forces have been settled there? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lastly, Honorable Kaunya, you can now answer those. Very weighty.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairman. Chair, I would like to ask the nominee a few questions, particularly as relates to the area of governance and the enforcement of the law. Would like to hear from the nominee, and it's closely related to the issue of the vision. What leadership style would we expect from you, particularly being the commander of the police? What is your thinking about police as a service, as a force? Nominee, you'll note that the police have come a long way in terms of what we have talked about reforming. The police attitude, whereas, as you indicated, majority of police officers may be doing a good job and working hard, but there's the aspect that we have not been able to bridge, the gap between the citizen system-centric police and a system-centric police. Obviously, we expect the police to serve. So we would want to know what steps you will take, if approved as the IG, to ensure that this gap is narrowed so that the citizen can be able to get the services and have trust in the police, because I think that's the major area of the gap. Now, I want to ask a question on the handling of disciplinary cases. You will not notice that as the IG, you are also a member of the National Police Service Commission. You have a role as an IG, and the commission has a role. Can you clarify to the members how you are going to balance between the role of IG and the role of Public Service Commission, especially the HR function? Because most times there's a problem in terms of the balancing. And lastly, Chair, I would like to ask the nominee, since you are commandant of the training college at Kiganjo, I happen to have been also a commandant of a college. And one of the things that is a big challenge, and I think we were trying to adopt, is to adjust our training syllabus to ensure that certain aspects of reform, like the human rights, are brought on board. To what extent were you able to bring those changes, and what, as an IG, if appointed, would you wish to be changed in terms of making our police more citizen-centric? Thank you.
I think later on I will ask Honorable Kiunya. He was which college he was? He was the commanding. But I think the fourth person I want to give the floor is Honorable Sikei.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was going to ask.
Yeah. You have the floor, Sikei.
What?
Yeah, those four now you will answer. Then we go to the next
What my
round.
colleague has asked is more or less what I was going to ask. But I want to start first with the nominee. Welcome. I want to confirm, Chair, that I worked with this nominee. And possibly I am one of those who recommended for his promotion. When I was in Nairobi, he did a good job when I was there. But Chair, I wanted to talk about the whole issue of community policing. Engineer, you remember that this community policing was introduced in Kenya, and it was enforced all over the country, and it worked. Where have we gone wrong? Because what my colleague is asking is, why is this gap between the people, the citizens of this country, and the police? And let me tell you, and I know that the problem is from the factory where we manufacture these policemen. Nominee, I think, and I want to thank you because you are in the police college. What I want to ask you is, can you put a finger on what we have done to bring reforms to the Kenya police? Because really, you are in the core of the training of our police officers, and that's very important. Don't you think we need to have some re-engineering of the curriculum in the training colleges in Kiganjo, Embakasi, both GSU and the AP. That's very crucial. That we need to look at the social aspect of the engineering. Are these fellows trained properly to come and work with the people on the ground? Because I said now, Wanakome, there's a big gap. And I look at you and I see hope that you are going to see this service change. And I want to ask also that the Nyumba Kumi people who are on the ground, are they serving? Are they assisting you in any form? And if so, what are the legal framework we have put in place to assist them? Then I want to also mention the issue of Kenya Police Reservists. Do we have any training of any sort? Or you just give these fellows firearms and they go and loiter around there? These are very critical people, because I work in Northeastern and I know they are very good. They can assist the police. I think we need some form of training. And then another question which I wanted to ask is, in that list of committee in the county, I didn't hear where the county commissioner is placed. Where is he? My last question is on the issue of, I know you are in a very awkward situation when some weird directives are given. Like the last time I heard that you should not allow people to fall in love in a police station. How do you implement this kind of directive? Because they are a bit queer, a bit weird. And I know you are in a very difficult situation because you find yourself to implement something which cannot be implemented. How do you implement this, Wanakome? But I wish you the best.
You can answer those. And as you do that, see how you can be precise, concise to the question so that we move forward.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Co-Chair. Honourable members, senators, thank you. I wish to start with a question by Honourable Sigei. And thank you, sir, for the kind ones, indeed encouraging. KPR. Sir, what I propose, if given the opportunity, just in case the opportunity comes my way, is to change the whole. Of course, I will involve other stakeholders. Look at the whole National Police Reserve policy. There are issues. I recall one time our officers in Samburu were involved in an ambush when I was the principal deputy to DIG, and to fly there. When I got there, I found a very hostile situation. And to talk to the KPR separately and the regular police, GSU, separately, the relationship was that bad. And each of them was pointing fingers at the other one. So we need to look at the training, how they are trained at the KPR, how they are trained. Are they vetted as they join the service? So, sir, this one is just a look, reviewing the policy on KPR. Community policing, Chair, again, Honorable Sigei says along the way it died. It did not die, a bit of activity going on. However, sir, the National Police Service is excited about the goodwill we are enjoying now from the government. The goodwill we are enjoying from the leadership of this country. The goodwill we are enjoying from His Excellency the President and the Deputy President and other elected officials. Because the phone in love at the police station, sir, it did not come from a policeman. I stand guided. It came from some other quarters. But now, it's very clear, the IG, the Inspector General, is in command of the service. He is answerable for any, he is responsible for any misconduct. That is a strong message out there. And we are going to guard that jealously. Ensure it's true, the command remains with the IG. Among the functions of the IG is to implement policy decisions. So the Cabinet Secretary will issue the policies, but the actual command in terms of operational issues and discipline will remain with the Inspector General. And again, that will have addressed most of our issues. No police officer will have anything to do with the politics. It is serving all and equally. Sir, the question by Honorable Kaunya, again, thank you, sir, very kind ones. You served as a commandant, APTC, and you left a mark there. The leadership style, again, it is contained in the government of the day manifesto. Democratic style of policing. Anything we do, we must involve the public. I must have consent of the public to police them. It is not controlled policing. It is not controlled policing. It is service policing. Friendly police officers. As you patrol in the estates, members of the public can approach you for help, not running away from you. Sir, I started that when I was in the college, police college. There is a letter I've presented, a letter of appreciation by, I think, Nyeri Moi Complex School. I spent our day in the college with the people, young pupils of that school. They wanted to know about the structure, what we do in the college. Therefore, I want to encourage that. Our officers to be visiting. You can walk to the neighboring school. You are an OCS, walk to the neighboring school, talk to, give a lecture on policing. So that's the direction we are going to. We must be accepted. Wananchi must accept. It's not really, it's out of their will. But if you are friendly, the consent will be there, and policing will become very easy in this country. Getting information will be very easy. And at the end of the day, we shall have happy people. Again, Honorable Kaunya, in the college, human rights, that is a must session. We teach that in the college. We have introduced also on our officers manage their finances, because we have realized that the suicides, which were talked about, is out of our officers, the young officers, especially the young officers, manage their finances. And I think, as you said, Chair, this is not a problem just unique to police. I don't know whether it is the education system we have, because In the college, I've been inviting banks through their corporate social responsibility. They come on Saturdays, talk to the recruits on how to manage their finances. And these bank managers will tell me they have a problem, even in the banks, with the this generation. Because one is employed, the following day wants to drive a very nice Subaru. First a month. So again, that aspect of managing resources, living within means, within one's means, that is the subject as how we have introduced in the college, because we feel that is what is actually a big problem in terms of the suicides incident we are seeing. Disciplinary cases, relationship between us and the commission, worldwide, that is how commissions, police commissions are organized. We have the civilian aspect, then the executive. Because worldwide, police work is very stressful career, worldwide. Therefore, when I'm there sitting as an IG, the chairman of the commission is a civilian.
There are days when you think, oh, leo na deserve, so order a Glovo. Days when plans inachelewa. What if you order a Glovo?
To guide the commission.
Glovo, you order, we
got
get
the issues of an officer who is in Kibish. As we have been there with the HR issues, an officer who is in Kiunga have been there. Therefore, it's a good idea to have the two DIGs and the IG as commissioners. That is helping a lot. Sir, the other one was Honorable Hussein. Sir, I'm not privy to the 2,000 plots. I'm not privy to that information. And again, Mheshimiwa mentioned that there's a matter is going on in court. Therefore, this is an area I need to be very careful about. I don't put the service in an embarrassing situation. Again, KPR is the policy. We are going to review the policy. Extrajudicial killing. This is the supreme law of the land. This is the guiding factor. Anything we do, this is our anchor. This is what holds our country together. And as I said, this is our country, all of us. We have no spare country. We cannot have a situation where it is the IG breaking the law. The Constitution is very clear. It talks about right to life. It's very clear. Who am I as a policeman to decide to take somebody's life? Under my watch, anybody attempting that one will face the law. We must allow every citizen of this country to enjoy his or her existence. You exist, enjoy existing. That is the commitment I wish to give this morning, this afternoon, sorry, sir. Missing persons. And Chair, that's why I'll come back again, maybe this committee, so that we can discuss further about this office of the Coroner General. We need that office. I know that act was enacted, I think, 2017. 2017. We need the Coroner General soon as possible, so that any unnatural death, any natural death is investigated to logical conclusion. And that, again, will be a game changer. That, again, Chair, Co-Chair, it is my commitment. We need support by this the committee to make that operational. Including the case of your cousin. We cannot allow every evening we are watching news, you are seeing mothers crying, wives crying. We can't continue that way as a country. Housing, by Honorable Sen again, housing, I will not take you through the conditions I lived under when I was a constable in Easterns. Too unfortunate. The service had been neglected for a number of years. There was no investment at all to the service. What I propose is a short-term, medium-term, and long-term measures. Because construction is expensive. There are competing needs in terms of the resources we have as a country. What I will propose, Chair, to this committee is a short-term measure. We enhance the house allowance. Let's enhance the housing allowance based on where the police station is located. Because I can imagine Mudangari police station is in Lavington. What the officers are being paid now is so little that you find an officer policing Mudangari, Lavington. You live in Babandogo, then commute. At times he's expected to be on duty in the night. So again, we end up losing officers because they're armed, they are targets. So that is a short-term measure. Enhance the house allowance. Long-term, again, I will engage I seek Kitanje's. Again, I will engage I seek Kitanje's of the chair. The housing money which went to the Minister of Housing can be brought. The housing money which went to the Minister of Housing can be brought back to National Police Service. We used to get every year 2 billion for construction. And that's why we're able to do nice houses in Oyugis, in Sigomere, in Uguja, nice houses, modern houses. Kibish. But that money these days goes to Minister of Housing. My officers I was asking, they told me they have not been called for any meeting by the Minister of Housing. I wish that money is channeled through the service. Sir, Honorable Korere. Sir, I wish to report, since I took over the command of the National Police College, I've not taken even a single police officer. I've not taken even a single police officer for training. Since I took over, because of the issues with the community there, I didn't want to compromise our relationship with the community. So these days we train on our land, to live land in Magadi. We stopped from when I took over November 2019. Not even a single police officer from Kiganjo. Not even a single police officer from Kiganjo. In Mukogondo. They go to Magadi.
Point of order, Chair.
They go to Magadi.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes, point of information.
Point of order.
To inform the
point of information. I want to inform
that I'm aware they stopped training.
I'm aware they stopped training
a school child who was
because of a case of a school child who was blown up by the ordinances, the police recruits or the police trainers have left in our field. That is in 2019. The boy was actually blown up on the 31st of December 2019. We have a schoolgirl of class 6 with a bullet lodged in her knee because there was a stray bullet that hit the child. And what the police did, instead of addressing the issue, they have trained on our land, we have the title, for over 50 years. Instead of addressing that issue, they have not been paying any list to that community. They actually ran away and refused to address the communities whatsoever. And I'm just bringing it to his attention, now that he's the Inspector General. The family of the boy who was blown up is still mourning the loss of their loved one. The girl that has got a bullet lodged on her knee is still going through problems, very poor. They can't even afford medication. What are you going to do if we approve your appointment to address, because it is an injustice done to those families and nobody is addressing it whatsoever.
The Inspector General of Police, Nominee Japhet Koome, from Parliament buildings. The members are drawn from both houses, from the Senate Committee on National Security and also a number of members of Parliament. We have able team on the ground on that bit, but for now we also have other news making headlines in the city. Let's cross over to Embakasi. This is where a building has collapsed. My colleague Timothy Kipnusu is on standby from the other end. He is going to give us a brief on what is happening on the ground. Do we have any fatalities? Kipnusu, good afternoon. Bring to speed with the latest development from your end.
If allowed, I get the opportunity. If allowed. When allowed.
Very good afternoon to you, Irene Muchua, there at the broadcasting house. Yes, indeed, as we mentioned, I'm coming to you live from Atasi Embakasi in Nairobi County, where an 8-story building collapsed yesterday at 4 p.m. And we're here to try to understand what is happening. And the rescue team has been here. A team from the Red Cross has been here. Also, Kenya Defense Forces, just trying to salvage the situation here. The ground floor of this building hosts a number of businesses, and of course a number of them have been cut. Huge losses, as you can see. Is a terrible situation here in Tasia. Of course, a number of residents have been here just to find out what the situation look like. Also, the Institution of Engineers of Kenya have been here since morning just to monitor the situation. Of course, I'm now joined by Engineer Grace Mudhoni, who is the Vice President from the Institution of Engineers of Kenya. Just to break it down and tell us what has happened here in Embakasi. Perhaps you can tell us what
okay, when a building like this one collapses,
what's the last one was again
what comes to mind is that it was not strong enough in layman terms. So what it means is that the foundations that support this building can be questioned. The columns that support this building can be questioned. The entire support system of this building can be questioned. So the issues arise, and if, for example, the design was done properly, then maybe the way it was constructed by the contractor did not follow the engineer's specifications, because the contractor also has to follow the specifications by the engineer to make sure that that building is as strong as it was designed to be. As you can see, this is a building over 8 stories. That's a very massive building by any standards here in Nairobi. We expect that a lot of work has been done to make sure that all the statutory processes have been followed.
Directorate of National Police Service, well-being directorate.
In terms of even getting the contractor and a proper team,
to design the building, the approval is granted. I'll create that office soonest possible. The Office of National Police Service Well-being Directorate.
From a point of view as an engineer, one of the things that we train over and over again is the
not
issue
below
of
the rank
safety.
of
Safety is a very big consideration in any kind of design of a project of this magnitude. Where we are going to have human beings occupying that particular facility, safety is always paramount. So in this particular case, the first question that comes to mind is, was there a human being affected? And we have been established that we have not been able to get the true facts, but so far the indicators that there are no casualties, but the total could be tracked and the number
Thank
is
you.
not known.
Now our time really is gone. I want to
and they're
give
still
the
trying
following
to
members
strategize
again.
on how they're going to
Senator
operations. But from our point of view, we find it very unfortunate that human lives are being compromised.
and then followed by
Developers who are not able to follow the due process.
Mheshimiwa. And then Aduma. Very quickly.
Point of order, Co-Chair. Maybe before members proceed, which I think we have been guided that what time is really up. We have a member who will join us. Maybe he can introduce himself before we move on. Then there are some members like Fatuma also.
Yes, thank you, respective chairs. My name is Peter Kaluma. I'm MP for Homa Bay Town constituency. I serve in the Committee on Administration and Internal Affairs in the National Assembly as a member.
Thank you.
Thank you, Co-Chair. To the nominee, I will be very brief. One, if this committee was to approve and subsequently the Parliament was to approve your nominee, you will become the first Inspector General of Police with financial autonomy. I would want to know from you how things will be different in terms of police operation, and what level of scrutiny will you be prepared to be scrutinized on the funds allocated to the service. And also, I would also want to know what level of autonomy you are going to cede to the regional commanders, because the issues we have on the ground is every time when there is an issue to be followed, those people on the ground don't have fuel and such other things. Number two, I would want you, because you talked about the transformation you intend to bring to the service, I would want you to comment on what you will do for the senior citizens and persons living with disabilities in as much as accessing your service and even the station is concerned, and whether you consider things like having sign language for our members who need those special services. Thank you.
preside over mushrooming of any of the killer units within the police service that Kenyans are now hearing about. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, nominee. Kindly just allow me so that you can able to address them, you lump them up because of our time, to let one member who has not spoken since, Honorable Fatuma, to say just two or so that you can address them, all of them, because our time is really up.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome, Mr. Nominee. I thought my time will not reach actually, and I'm late for prayers. I was hoping I can be given a chance to speak. I may repeat some questions for the purpose of record, and issues could be the same but affects people differently. Mr. Nominee, this position comes with a lot of responsibilities, including and not limited to protection of lives and livelihoods of Kenyans. I mention this in light of extrajudicial killing and forceful disappearance of the Kenyans. According to a report on the inquiry into an extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearance in Kenya by the Committee of Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights that was prepared and presented by the members of the said committee, and this report was received by the Senate on 14th October 2021, indicates, and I quote, the authority, IPOA, thereupon informed the committee that between 1st October 2018 and 28th February 2022, it had received and admitted for investigation 210 cases of death as a result of police actions, death in police custody. Mr. Nominee, I said 210. This is just not a number. These are Kenyans, Kenyan citizens. These are fathers and mothers to our children. If approved today, I would like to know what action you will take. And I'm sure there are other recent disappearances that has happened between then and now. Given an opportunity, Mr. Nominee, what measures with strict timelines are you going to take to bring an end of police brutality and killings? I say this, and I heard you say that we need to have a conversation, and one day we need to hand over this country to our children. Mr. Nominee, these people that have disappeared are also fathers, and I'm sure at one point they will have loved to leave this country for their kids. Mr. Nominee, I would also like to say that all animals are not equal, but some animals are more equal than others. I say that because of where I come from and the issues we have regarding the extrajudicial killings. Mr. Nominee, today, through our able chairs, we would like to give you a chance, we would like to give you a chance to address the families of the victims. Speak to them honestly as you assure the rest of Kenyans of their safety, security, accountability within the police. The position you're seeking needs honesty and fidelity to the law. Mr. Nominee, I'll not ask much question. This one takes me to the drought issue, Mr. Nominee. With the ongoing droughts that has affected more than 4 million people, it's worth mentioning that the good people of Wajir County, especially Wajir West and our brothers from Isiolo, have clashed numerous times in pursuit for forage and water, resulting to unnecessary death from both sides. While residents in some parts of Wajir East...
Honorable, just point of order, Mheshimiwa.
Yes,
kindly,
I am actually
you're kind of like doing a statement.
Just, okay, Mheshimiwa.
Kindly.
Okay, Mr. Nominee. Parts of Wajir East and Tarbaj are numerously being attacked by Al-Shabaab. they live in fear. We would like the nominee to address the issue of Al-Shabaab. Our schools are being attacked. Our health centers are being attacked. The residents live in fear. So we would like him to address also that. Thank you.
Thank you, members. I know you are really giving our nominee a lot of questions, and you can all see that it's 1:30, and we still have an issue on the petition, and we're all aware that we will still have a plenary or a meeting after this. So kindly, and in a little bit summarized manner, you can attempt to answer those questions. But there's a question that has been raised by a member, Honorable Korere, on the issue of corruption during recruitment, that it has been a big menace in the police service, that during recruitment, the recruit must pay to be taken in the police service. So it's an issue that Kenyans are very interested to hear. What is your take on the same? How do you plan to cap that? Then, Anne, just quickly, the issue of the police uniform. You know, it has been a big debate in this country. Yeah, the blue one, the deep blue, I don't know. Yeah, what really prompted the change, and what is your take on the same? Yeah, I think maybe you can add those questions. As Kaluma prepare kidogo, we prepare on the petition after that. Thank you.
Chair, the co-chair, honorable members, the senators, I start with the question by Honorable Korere. Corruption during recruitment. The chairman, I started by saying I would not be on the defensive at all. It's owning the problem. Is the truth. There's corruption in recruitment. Police work has become very competitive. That's the truth. Very competitive. At times, like the recruitment, the data we have now, we are targeting officers for the police station. Not really graduates, university graduates. Because previously we had employed the specialists, medical doctors, educationists, architects, engineers, forensic experts. They left the college in January. Then we advertised for officers to serve at the police station. And minimum requirement was D+. Of course, you must have passed in English and Kiswahili. During recruitment, nobody produced a degree certificate. They produced the Form 4 certificate. Reported the college. 5 months down the line, 108 produced university graduates. Certificates. 108 produced degree certificates. They produced degrees. That shows how competitive police work has become. Because of that, again, we have people taking advantage of that situation. Quite a number, again, went to court. You know, young people joined the service with the forged certificates.
Yes, you have already confessed that the vice is there and very rampant. How do you plan to curb it? You know, it has been an issue of concern to Kenyans. How do you plan?
Thank you, Chair. The authorized recruiting officer is the Inspector General. That is the authorized recruiting officer. Delegated authority or powers by the Commission. If just in case the approval is granted, the recruitment process will have to be very transparent no compromise. Because honestly, if a Kenyan will pay 600,000, what's the implication? Get the service, then is harassing citizens of this country to recover the money paid for recruitment, during recruitment. Therefore, is my commitment, Chair. Again, this committee has a role to play. The Commission, IPOA, Kenya National Commission of Human Rights, and I think JEDA, the civil society, we're in this together. Therefore, as I started by saying, we need to stamp authority and say enough is enough. Let's look at the bigger picture, safety of this country, security of this country. Thank you, sir. On uniform, too unfortunate. The truth is, officers are not happy with that uniform. They are not happy. And you can imagine, this is a worker, so when he's leaving his residence in the morning, he has put on that uniform, he is unhappy, very early in the morning. What do you expect of that officer? When that uniform was introduced, I was the principal deputy to DIG. As the principal deputy to DIG, I was not aware. I was told the uniform is changed. Tomorrow, somebody will come to get your measurements, you get a new set of uniform. That is not the direction we intend to take. We must consult. We must involve all stakeholders when making such decisions. This committee has a major role. We should have even invited you. You look at what the proposal. Therefore, as of the Chair, it is true. There is an issue.
Yeah, so you say, the police, the officers are not happy with it. So do you plan to change if given the position?
Chair, I don't intend, as I move on, if the approval is granted, I will have to consult all stakeholders.
Chair, thank you for raising that issue of the uniform, because we served in the committee, in this same committee in the last parliament, and that was really, really a very big issue. I think we'd get back to the answer that look at the issues which were there. Chair, indeed, when the nominee came in, I thought he was one of the striking pilots because he did not have the blue uniform, Kenya Airways pilot. So I think let's take that one. Move on. The issue of the uniform.
Co-Chair, I think as you leave that, I think what I want you to do, Bana nominee, I want you at your own time, because you already have the Bible and the Constitution, go to Article 118. Not now. And you will realize how important and mandatory for every action decision to have public participation and stakeholders. Article 118.
Proceed, Mr. Koome. Address the other question raised by members.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Co-Chair. Thank you, members. Thank you, senators. I will now go to the question raised by Honorable Rose. Demotivated police service welfare. Chair, I don't intend to blow my own trumpet. But since I joined the service, actually the first year, I was given the responsibility of coming up with the police school. A project I started in 1992, officers contributed. We put up Utumishi Academy Boys High School. It's a national school. I'm the chairman of the board of management. officer in Mandera, you leave his son at that school, the child is studying, the officer is in Mandera, there's some comfort. When I became the principal deputy to DIG, again, my DIG Mbogwa and myself, again, we thought about the girl child. Started in a small way. My DIG contributed 100,000. I contributed 50,000. My local MP, actually, Honorable Daud, gave me 100,000. We contributed that way. And within 1 year, we had put up Utumishi Girls Academy. We have now students, I think, up to Form 3. I'm not very sure. Should be up to Form 3. I'm the chair, board of management of that school also. Therefore, all the time, when I see any officer on beat duties on patrol, what comes first is welfare consideration. Because of time, Chair, allow me to stop there regarding welfare issues. I've stated clearly, if the approval is allowed, I will immediately establish National Police Service Well-Being Directorate. I mentioned a senior officer will be in charge of that directorate, not below the rank of a senior assistant inspector general. And on daily basis, his task will be looking at welfare issues of the officers. Graduates on Honorable Rose, very tricky matter. Because National Police Service Act states that the Inspector General will manage, control, direct operations or activities of the service as a disciplined service. I know the former IG spent about 4 years in court with the constables. Very unfortunate, very ugly situation. But again, because of command issues, very tricky. Therefore, Chair, if the approval for this nomination is granted, I'll look at that court order, sit with the service commanders. We must obey court orders. We have no option. The number actually is 1,020. However, other than those 1,020, we have additional 4,400. They were not on that scale, but they are graduates. So it's a tricky matter. These are paid, these others will rush to court. And I don't at all imagine with my constables in the courts for 1 year, even a day. We are in better seats. They patrol the streets. Then I continue engaging the committee in terms of their welfare. That's, I think, the energy will be spent in a better way. Honorable members, Chair, I now wish to respond to the questions raised by Honorable Fatuma. She mentioned that this position comes with every responsibility. Very true. Chair, very true. And that's why I mentioned that I will not do anything else. If granted the opportunity, right, to serve, I will not do anything else. Is serving our beautiful country. 24 hours. Yes, again, the issue of the extrajudicial killing has come up. Chair, I'm at the college, I'm at the police college. The honest statement, in our police colleges, we don't train how to strangle anybody. There is no such a session, how to kill by strangulation. It's not there. But we train our officers how to use firearms. However, we tell them clearly, use of a firearm is the last thing you can do. And there are justifiable instances when you can use a firearm. It is stipulated in the law. 1, there are 5 instances: saving or protecting life of the officer or another person. 2, protecting life or property. If property or life is in danger, an officer can use a firearm. 3, for self-defense. Either the officer is defending himself or another person due to imminent threat to life or serious injury. The other one is the 4th one. If any person who is charged for having committed a felony is escaping from lawful custody, he has committed a felony, serious offense, punishable by imprisonment for over 3 years. We are talking about murder, manslaughter, robbery, violence. If he's attempting to escape, an officer can use a firearm. The last one, anybody who attempts to rescue, anybody who has been arrested or charged for committing a felony, then again the officer is justified to use a firearm. It's just those instances. That is what we tell the officers. So anybody going out of that arrangement, what is provided by the law, then again, the Constitution is very clear. You face trial and be dealt with just like another criminal. We don't condone, we don't allow killing anybody. Everybody has a right to life. Honorable Fatuma talked about IPOA. IPOA, yes. I enjoy, as the Commandant at National Police College, I enjoy cordial relationship with the IPOA. They visit me at the college frequently. They come, I take them to our armory, they look at our training. We have good relationship. And that's why at some stage I mentioned last evening when I was getting encouraging messages for coming before you. Among those who sent a message is the chairperson IPOA. So if and the bad relationship with IPOA should not have sent the chairperson, would not have sent that encouraging message on behalf of the IPOA. But since I have no issues with them, they feel they're happy with Japhet as the next IG. So, Chair, honorable members, if given that the approval is granted, IPOA will be a partner. Kenya National Human Rights Commission and Gender, they will be partners. The civil society, Rafton, we shall be partners. Aki, is Aki Africa, we shall be partners because we are serving the same Kenyan. We are serving the same Wananchi.
Chair, could you please say something on compensation of police who lose their lives while in course of duty?
I think maybe it's not yet done. Maybe it's still to address the same, I guess. And if you didn't capture, the honorable member had asked, majority of police officers get injured on line of duty. What are the plans you have mechanism for their compensation?
Thank you, Chair. I was coming to that along with the one on drought. Yes, very unfortunate. We have several officers injured in line of duty. I would not like to say, yeah, it is the challenges of the profession. And our officers should not be discouraged by that. Some of us are hurt in line of duty. Others pay the ultimate price. They leave families behind, children, young families. Very unfortunate. But you have a duty to serve. We swore when we left the college to serve all parts of this country, including the IG, just in case I'm given the opportunity, serving every part of this country. Therefore, it's true. But my proposal is we need a special arrangement, just like other security organs. They are very good arrangement in terms of taking care of those left behind. In case something happens to me, God forbid. So again, I'll be engaging this committee chair with due respect, so that we can see maybe better insurance arrangement for the officers. Maybe the last one was on drought. Yes, drought. That's the challenge I expect. If allowed to serve as the next IG, is a challenge. It will be a challenge because there is serious competition for resources, both pasture, water. But the good thing, our people, Kenyans generally are warm. No Kenyan were allowed to see a fellow Kenyan die out of anger, lack of water. I think we need to encourage that. The effort being put by His Excellency the President, all of us, we need to be involved. It's good now we have rains, although some part of this country it's not raining. But again, it's most urgency approach. But those who have, please, we need to share with those who are struggling. Al-Shabaab, again by Fatuma, a major threat. This is a serious threat. To all fellow Kenyans, this is a serious threat. All of us must come together, fight this common enemy. Youths are being radicalized. Organized criminal gangs mushrooming. Therefore, again, this is we need to, and the Office of the Inspector General, this will be immediate task. Again, some other issues I may not mention here. You know what is happening in Somalia now? We need to do a lot more. We need to ban midnight oil to address this issue raised by Honorable Fatuma regarding Al-Shabaab. Thank you, sir. I've answered all the questions raised by the
Thank you, our nominee, Engineer Koome. As members, we come to the tail end of this.
I want to give Honorable Peter Kaluma maybe 2 or 3 minutes. He will try to compress to maybe raise the issue on the petition. At the start, we had mentioned that we got 2 petitions, one on your support, then one was to challenge your suitability. I don't know. My vice chair was asking, just reminding me that before Honorable Kaluma joined us, the question was already posted to the nominee. He was served with the affidavit itself. So maybe just allow me. Let's have him address to that as a parting shot. So we will have an opportunity to do our write-up. Kindly. It's already 2, and yes, we are already actually 40 minutes past our scheduled time. So, back to you, nominee, on the issue of the petition against your suitability.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Co-Chair, honorable members, senators, and I thank the Kenyan who came up with this petition, although I don't want to ever mallout because
just take 5 minutes or 7 to try to respond to the same.
Yes,
Co-Chair, I want you to know, nominee, that under Article 50 of the Constitution, you have a right to reply because these allegations made on oath. Article 50 of the Constitution gives you the chance now to make something on it.
Chair, with due respect, the advert I saw, the print media, talked about closure on that at 5 p.m. This affidavit came on 4th, received on 4th. It was brought to my attention much late, but however, I'll still respond to the issues raised. It talks about an issue at Nairobi University. That is one. There are 2 issues. One, police officers got in the university, then at some injured university students. I wish to state that when I was the regional police commander Nairobi, there are 2 things I did not do. One, I did not allow any demolition in this city. Not even one. The other one, I gave clear instructions to my officers. Just in case there is an issue within the university, no police officer should get into the university unless requested by the Vice Chancellor. If there is so much danger in the university, the Vice Chancellor would invite police. I'm aware some officers from some other unit, not under the command of Japhet, gone into the university. The matter was investigated by IPOA. I remember IPOA wanted to give my, side of what happened. The hospital central, the Vice Chancellor, and there is another officer who was found culpable from some other unit and was punished. So this matter was dealt with and dispensed with. The second one is again during the electioneering period that there is a young girl, two unfortunates, a girl known as, I think it's not fair mentioning names. For this, it's just going to remind the family. It's not that is, I think, is not responsible. But there's a girl who was died, I think, somewhere in Madare. In Madare, the matter was investigated before a court of law. Officers went, gave evidence. The family were there, gave evidence. Again, the matter was dealt with to logical conclusion by a court of law. I was not found culpable, honestly, Chair. Those are the issues contained here. It said again, I did not cooperate with IPOA. But IPOA by now would have brought a petition that this nominee is so difficult. But I've just mentioned that I can give out my cell phone as evidence. The chairperson IPOA last night sent me a message. If I were in such a bad relationship with IPOA, Chair, honorable members, the issues mentioned here is not about Koome. Issues already dealt with and in a court of law by the oversight bodies. And thank you, Chair. About the officer, the person who is talking good things about Japhet, I think that is indeed very encouraging. There is a Kenyan out there who incur expense, go to a lawyer, swear an affidavit. Indeed, that is encouraging. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Engineer Koome. Maybe before we bring this to a closure, maybe do you have something you want to tell these members?
Clarification, Chair, not a substantive question. You see, nominee, you were the commander for Nairobi at the time of the incidents as mentioned here. To what extent do you accept responsibility by dint of that office for these serious matters mentioned in the petition? To what extent? I've not heard the petitioner to say you're the one who committed the matters, but to what extent, as commander, do you accept responsibility?
Thank you, Honorable Peter Kaluma. And that's why I presented before this honorable committee copies of 15 operation orders. Operations have commanded successfully. And I mentioned, including the visit by the Holy Father, TICAD, a conference, Tokyo International, is this cooperation and I think is anyway, TICAD, where we under 35 ends of state, including the Prime Minister of Japan, the late Abe, and 4,000 delegates, commanded very well, no single incident. That's why I presented those operation orders, so that this committee can have a look at how we draw our operation orders. Because you divide the city into sectors, and every sector has a senior officer. It is a big city. During the day, it's a city of 7 million people. And the operation commander is seated near EACC offices. So you divide the city into sectors.
Chair, I hear the nominee to be saying he has no responsibility. Despite being commander, I think we leave it at that.
I think, Kaluma, let us allow, nominee, I see where you are going. You want to expound before you make your final statement on this. I think let us just finish, because the question by the member was very clear. To what extent do you take responsibility? 10%, 3%, 0%, 100%? Answer that question.
Okay, maybe I don't know whether I got it clear, Co-Chair, because the nominee was trying to explain to us that there is the Nairobi, the city is divided into several administrative units. When there is the county commander, that's I think what he was trying to say. Then there is a city commandant. So I think he was trying to say that there was a county commander who was probably in charge of the...
Chair, with all humility and respect, kindly let the nominee say it, because we are trying to deduce what he was saying without...
Go on, nominee.
Thank you, Chair. And that's why I took time to explain this matter. Because again, this constitution talks about the right of being heard. It's not limited. Because the general public is watching. I may not want to live here being seen as a killer. But this is a commander who has served his country with passion, with commitment. 2017, 2018, honorable members, the chair, when we're about to lose this country, we are to operate within the law. This is the Nairobi City commander who is being called by a citizen in Dandora. There are issues in Dandora. So I will send a commander there in charge of that operation. I'm being called from Langata. There are issues here. I direct OCPD, Langata, move there, address that issue. I'm being called from Kawangware. There's another commander there commanding that, but I'm the overall commander. And that's why when this matter was investigated regarding what happened in the Madare, the judicial process was followed. We cooperated with IPOA. Statements were recorded by officers, but nobody was found culpable. That is a less additional.
Okay, so what do you tell the committee, that you are not responsible?
Not in any way. 0% responsibility.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Koome, we are hearing you. But as far as your command is concerned, did you cooperate fully with the authorities that were investigating those incidents, so that those who are culpable were brought before the law? That is all we want to know.
The chairman, the co-chair, or our members, the senators, I cooperated in total. I have presented before this committee copies of operation orders. I did the same to IPOA. Gave them copies of the operation order. Recorded, and of all my officers, which happens with police, police officers. All the time we keep recording statements, because we like to be, I wish to be as transparent as possible, and I did that. And the courts, one in Melemani, closed that matter.
Okay. Members, I think the nominee has been able to explain himself.
But I have a final short.
And that is, and that is why that Article 50 is critical. Fair hearing. You've been given, and I think when Koome, you've been able to explain yourself. My co-chair,
Chair. I wanted also.
I wanted to close this. Is it the
No,
same?
I wanted to say something about somebody who supported
Please,
the nominee. You should acknowledge that he was supported by a Kenyan.
No, honorable members, you know the chair is on the seat. And I've asked you, I think the information we gathered from the nominee is sufficient enough for us to move forward and write a report. Yeah, so let's bring to a closure, please.
Okay. So, my colleague had requested you, Bwana Koome, if you have something to tell this committee, maybe you can make some few remarks on that.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Co-Chair. Thank you, Senators and honorable members. Mine is to start by thanking you most sincerely. I'm encouraged by the commitment I've seen in you. Sitting from very early in the morning up to this hour. This is the direction we need to take. Working hard for this country. We have a beautiful country, Chair. I wish to close with my humble requests that Japhet Koome is ready to serve his homeland and guard this country jealously. And may God bless you. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Co-Chair. Thank you, honorable members. Asante sana, senators. Allah awabariki.
Okay. Let me also say one or 2 points before I give my colleague also to make his closing remarks. We want to thank you also for, you've told us we've started for many hours, but you also sat with us for those hours. We've been able to hear you. You've answered questions by members. Now, the remaining is for us as a committee to do our business, our duty. And if this committee will approve your nomination, fine, we will continue to work together. If they decline, I am sure you will still serve this country in the position you are in, because you talked of you want to serve your motherland. And you will do so whether in this intended position or in the position you are in. I want to conclude by saying this is indeed a very special day. If you will be nominated, if you will be approved, you will be our 4th IG. And if you will be approved, my wish and my hope for the people of Baringo County, where I represent, that they will see hope. And indeed, Kenyans at large, because we are not here for a county, we are here for the whole country. This country will breathe a fresh air of peace, because a lot of suffering has gone through the lives of our people. So wish you well, and we look forward to engaging with you even as we go by. My co-chair.
Thank you, Co-Chair. I think I wouldn't have much to say. You seem to have said it all. Thank you, the nominee, for really keeping strong for the last 3 or so hours. And members heard you, Kenyans have heard you, they've been watching and following. You can trust this committee that they can able to live to the occasion. They know their mandate. They will do what is right, both to you and to the Kenyans. And I think think I wish all the best of luck. In due course, maybe you'll get to know the finding of this committee. So maybe as we bring this to an end, we will allow our nominee to leave, and maybe the fourth estate, just for 2 minutes, we remain behind for the housekeeping. So, pongezi, Mr. Koome.
In 55 years ago, in a village known as Giaki in Meru County. I went to a primary school in the neighborhood. A primary school known as Giaki is a village primary school. But when I reached class 6, my mother decided to transfer me to Marsabit Primary School. That was in 1978, when we had the remnants of shifter war. So that was the beginning of hardening me. At the age of 12 years, I would put my box on my head, leave Meru, all the way to Marsabit. In 1980, I sat for my CPE, passed well. I was the best pupil in Marsabit. The second best pupil in the Marsabit. Therefore, I very easily joined the national school, Meru Technical School. Then, in 1984, I sat for my KCE, the old system. I know those who went through 844 maybe lost a bit, but that's the old system. I passed well. I ended at Division 1 with the Distinction 1, best grade in mathematics and physics and chemistry. So after that, I joined the Kagumo High School, the prestigious school. And in 1986, I sat for my Form 6. But it's worth mentioning, while in Form 5, police had a very good program, which we were calling Kenya Police Cadet Corps. So that program, what would happen? Students in Form 5 or Form 3 in Kagumo High School would go to Police College Kiganjo twice a week. Then they are taken through police program. It used to be on Tuesday and Thursday for 1 year. So I was a beneficiary of that program. So by the time I was leaving Kagumo High School, joining university, I was already a policeman. So I joined the Nairobi University in 1987 to study civil engineering. A policeman, but again, and to be careful, ensure that other students don't realize because of the incidents in the university those days. But anyway, to cut a long story short, I graduated in 1990 with a degree in Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. Immediately thereafter, because of my background in policing, in 1991 January, immediately after graduating, there was a recruitment, police recruitment. So I joined police service as a constable. I was among the first university graduates to join the police service, Kenya Police Service as constables. I completed my program, the initial training, then posted to Nairobi to patrol the streets of Nairobi as a constable. Then thereafter, I was transferred to anti-stock theft unit in Gilgil. While there, I was promoted to the rank of an inspector of police. I stayed there up to 1998 when I was promoted, I was gazetted actually. I became a gazetted officer as superintendent of police. I was transferred from unstock theft unit and posted to Eastland, Buruburu Division as the deputy divisional commander. Then, while there, that is when we had the bomb blast in 1998. And quickly, some of us and to be trained in the US so that we can protect our country from that threat, terrorism threat. So I went to US, Louisiana Police State Academy, Louisiana University, Baton Rouge, where I did my course on anti-terror. While there, I did well. The president, the mayor of Baton Rouge honored me and appointed me honorary mayor and president of Baton Rouge City, the capital city of Louisiana. I came back to the country. I was promoted and transferred to Machakos as the OCPD. Then transferred to Maragua as an OCPD. Then Eastlands, there was a challenge. Many incidents of murder. I was transported from Maragua to come and deal with that situation. So I reported to Buruburu Police Division, Eastlands, in 2001, and within 2 weeks, we had dealt with that problem. Thereafter, the year 2002, I was transferred to City Center. Again, there were incidents of robberies, bank robberies. Again, I was transported to come to City Center and manage those bank robberies. Then thereafter, I was in Central Division for 1.5 years, then transferred to Kiganjo as the officer in charge, practical police work, as an instructor. But before leaving Central, because of the good work I did that time, I was decorated by the end of state. I was awarded the end of state commendation. So went to Central, to Kiganjo, where I mentored many officers, trained officers. Then in the year 2005, that is the issue of the police housing. Came up, a big debate. So I was transferred from Kiganjo to police headquarters to be in charge of police housing. And we put up houses all over the country. All over the country, Marsabit, nice houses. Kibish, and many other places, Oyugis. Then I continued becoming, as the director of planning, Kenya Police Service. Then the year 2015, I was transferred to Nairobi City as the police commander. Very challenging position, where I commanded major operations, including the visit by the Holy Father, the Pope. I was the operational commander for that operation. We had a ticket, a Tokyo International Conference on African Development. I was the operational commander. And we had about 5 ends of state within this city. And we did very well. We had 4,000 delegates from Japan. No incident recorded. The service did well. Thereafter, sir, after the general elections of 2017-2018, I was transferred to police headquarters, Kenya Police Service headquarters, as the principal deputy to Deputy Inspector General. Then in the year 2019, I was transferred to Kenya Police College, is now National Police College, main campus Kiganjo, as a commandant. I've attended several courses, including I've been trained by military, NDC. I've been at NDC for 1 year on strategy and policy formulation. And several other programs. There's no single police training program I've not gone through. Senior command course, among many others. Because of time, I may not go into those details. Therefore, sir, my last posting is the Commandant National Police College, main campus Kiganjo, where as I'm seated here, I have 2,900 recruits who are just about to pass out. They will pass out in January. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Engineer Koome. It's, I think, good introduction. But I don't know whether, I've not heard you mentioning whether you have a family.
Oh, thank you, Chair. I'm married. I have a dear wife called Sophie, and we have 2 gentlemen, adult children. One is 31 years, the last born 25 years. Therefore, I have all the time to work as an IG. I don't have a young child.
Which religion do you practice?
We are Christians. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian.
Okay.
You are first born the day you've been in service for 31 years. And your first born is 31 years. Your first born is 31 years, you are 31 years in the service. Anyway,
I joined police when the gentleman was 10 days old.
Okay.
So I joined the service married.
That's okay.
No, that's okay. That's okay. It was just on a lighter note. Now, just for clarity, you had mentioned that maybe you were recruited a police officer before you joined the University of Nairobi for engineering course. Isn't it so? And if so, who was sponsoring or who was paying your fees?
Maybe to clarify, that was an arrangement which was there then. And I wish we can go back there. The idea was, you are not, this was voluntary. You are not even paid for it. The idea was, yes, you go through that program. Much later, even you don't join the police. You are CEO of somewhere, or even you are a member of parliament. You be having a mind of what is policing. That was the idea. But that program does no longer exist.
Okay. I'm saying you were recruited as a police officer before you joined the university, isn't it? Isn't it so? Yes or yes or no?
for allegedly being involved in extrajudicial killings as a political witch hunt. And that is a witch hunt, he says, against former DCI boss George Kinoti. Now, he's urged the government to be sincere with the investigations on extrajudicial killings and ensure that other previous cases have also been resolved, even those touching on the president himself. Martin Mwangi has more.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya principal Raila Odinga has dismissed the ongoing investigations into the deaths of 2 Indians and a Kenyan driver, in which the disbanded Special Service Unit officers have been implicated. Raila says that the investigations have turned into a political witch hunt against the former DCI director George Kinoti and a few other officers. He also called on the government to ensure that all cases are probed.
We are, however, firmly opposed to the current trend directed by a vindictive regime that the president that seems to be pursuing a personal vendetta against specific current and past state officers in the pretext of pursuing extrajudicial executions.
Odinga alleges that the rivalry between President William Ruto and George Kinoti started way before the elections, and the Kenya Kwanza government has offered the perfect platform for the DPP to avenge.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the Azimio leader also called for investigations into tens of other murder cases, including that of Sergeant Kipyegon Kenei, who served in the office of the Deputy President William Ruto then, as well as that of lawyer Paul Geshero.
Instead, we demand a transparent, professional, and inclusive public inquest.
He castigated the Kenya Kwanza government for what he terms as reneging on its campaign promises on lowering the cost of living. They have also warned the government against raising taxes so as to achieve what they term as unrealistic promises.
We wish to remind the UDA regime that we have been here before. When NAC took over power in 2003, the economy was worse off than what UDA has inherited from Jubilee. But we were able to put the country back on track, including free primary education, without raising taxes. The Grand Coalition government picked up from the ashes of post-election violence and rebuild the economy, including massive infrastructure, without raising taxes.
Raila has instead urged the government to improve revenue collection at customs points, airports, registration of persons, as well as fighting corruption. Meanwhile, the SSU officers currently under arrest will remain in custody until Thursday, 10th November, when the court will make a ruling on whether to release them on bail or continue detaining them. Martin Mwangi, NTV.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition has been thrown into confusion following Minority Leader Opiyo Wandai's decision to replace Jubilee's preferred John Waluke in the Parliamentary Service Commission. The move has put Wandai and Jubilee Party Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni at loggerheads. NTV's Vincent Odor has the details.
Letter to the Speaker of the National Assembly, Tuesday, Minority Leader Opiyo Wandai confirmed to the Speaker that the Minority Party nominees from the National Assembly to Parliamentary Service Commission PAC are Likoni MP Mishi Mboko and Mavoko MP Patrick Makao. Wandai replaced jailed Sirisia MP John Waluke with Mishi Mboko. However, NTV has established that the original agreement within Azimio was to have Waluke join the Parliamentary Service Commission from the Jubilee side and Wiper's Patrick Makao. ODM party then had not agreed on whom to front. Jubilee Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni has rejected Wandai's move and also written to the